Good morning guys from Puerto Escondido. Today is my birthday. I'm 25. Wow, I just absolutely love spending my birthdays at the beach. I know it's really hot in here, really humid, but I don't know, there's just something about looking at the ocean, looking at the waves that really calms me down. And so for me, that's one of the best ways to spend my birthday. Last night, my husband and I went to have some pizza, some vegan pizza. It was absolutely amazing, a lot of veggies, and instead of cheese, they used some kind of cheese made out of potatoes. A lot of places call this type of a mixture cheese, but in reality, it's not cheese. Like, it's literally mashed potatoes on top of your pizza. I know for some of you, it might sound absolutely disgusting, but it tastes so freaking good. I promise you guys. And so last night during dinner, my husband asked me a really nice question. What was the best thing that happened when you were 24 years old? It's really hard to answer this type of question because a lot of great things happen in 1 year. But if I were to choose just one, off the top of my head, I said that it would be really becoming more social and making friends that I really connected with. When I was a teenager in college, I struggled so much with making friendships. I was always a very shy, introverted person, and so for me, it was just hard to connect with people. Like, I always hated small talk. Maybe it's because I'm Russian and not because I'm introverted. It's just a part of my culture. We all hate small talk. But I also feel like this year I really connected with my family so much more. I went to Turkey to celebrate my bachelorette party last year, and I feel like this little trip really brought all of us together, all of us girls. My mom, my sister, my cousins, and my aunt. And it was absolutely amazing. Like, we created a group chat for all of us to prepare for the bachelorette, and then we still use this group chat up until this day, and it's still so freaking active, and I feel like we're all so much closer to each other. So if I were to summarize my year of being 24, like something that really stood out for me, it's me becoming more social and really working on deepening my connections with people. So the place we're staying at is called Casa Aymara, and I really like the design and like all the natural components of this place. Let's walk in right here. This little place is like a shower for when you come back from the beach and you want to just like wash off all the sand. And that is really nice because usually hotels offer this kind of option, but I wasn't sure if Airbnbs here did the same thing, but this one does. So it's really nice, just wash off all the sand so that your room is not full of sand. Something that I personally really like about this place is the pool area, but it's also really scary at night, especially if you're a little bit drunk or tipsy or carrying a lot of suitcases, because you're just walking and you can literally fall into the pool. It's basically like a strip, like a landing strip for planes. Very narrow, but I feel like you can do laps here if you want to. It's probably around, I don't know, 15 meters. So it's really nice and it looks really pretty. I feel like it really ties everything together here. So now let me show you where our actual room is. So I really like this little ladder in here to like dry out all the towels, the plants. This is a little nook to sit down, record videos. And here is our place. Also, the door is not closing, but it's fine. Obviously, our stuff is already here, so it doesn't look very organized and pretty, but the bed is massive. One of my favorite spaces in this Airbnb is this little nook for where you can work, because I really like this lamp. And the bathroom is actually really big. Like, first when you walk in, you're like, it's kind of small, but if you continue walking right here, you will basically enter a huge shower space. Like, I honestly don't know why it is so big. For how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, it's huge. And there's also like a little bench. If you're tired when you're showering, you can just sit down, relax. And now let me show you the terrace. There are hammocks. It's a really nice area to relax, and I really like it. Even though I feel like right now it's already really hot in there. let me try to sit down on this hammock and not fall down while trying to also record at the same time. Oh my god, it feels so nice. You can't imagine how hot it is here already, even though it's like 9 a.m. The plan I have right now is to call my family first because they obviously want to wish me a happy birthday, and then we're probably gonna go have breakfast, enjoy the day, and just relax and do nothing. When my parents came to Mexico in 2023, we actually also came to Puerto Escondido. There's some construction going on here. We came to the exact same breakfast brunch place and they really liked it. And it's crazy how my parents remember so many things from 2023 that I don't remember already. Because this morning when I went to this breakfast place, my parents were like, oh, did you guys see the same performers we did? I'm like, what performers? So like, oh, you remember? When we went there were some performers singing, dancing, playing some instruments. I was like, no, I don't remember that at all. Now, since it's my birthday and I was thinking what I really wanted to do today, I think right now I just want to walk around and shop, or maybe just window shop, look at some clothes, walk around. I don't like having a lot of clothes, but I do like having pieces that I know I will wear a lot. So let's see if I will be able to find anything here that I will like. We came to buy some cold water right now because it is so impossibly hot in here. I feel like my whole body is literally covered in sweat right now. You know, when you go to a beach town, you have to accept the fact that you're gonna permanently have greasy, dirty hair and also like these little lines on your nose because of the sunglasses. At least I get them because I literally wear my sunglasses all the time. The reason why for us it was so important to have a pool is because, yes, there are a lot of different beaches here, but the problem is on most of them the waves are extremely big. Like, it is actually impossible, or I would even say dangerous, to try to swim in those waves, especially if you're not a super confident professional swimmer. I remember when I came here in 2022, I actually tried surfing in here. Obviously, if the waves are big, it's perfect for surfing. Trying to surf was one of my biggest dreams for a very long time. And so I actually decided to stay at a surfing camp. Is it like an ice cream truck? I don't know what it is. And the reality was that I only stayed for 1 week because it was so difficult. I had surfing lessons every single day, like from Monday to Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday I had off. But honestly, after like 2-3 days of surfing non-stop, you become so freaking tired. I mean, at least I became exhausted. And I think also for me, what was really difficult is working with my motion sickness. You might experience motion sickness when you're in a car or maybe on a boat, but did you know that you can actually get motion sick when you're surfing? At least that's what happened to me, and I literally had to take Dramamine because I was so sick. And I think that is also why I decided to only stay for a week instead of 2 weeks, because I was so tired. I fell a few times and the board actually hit my nose, and for a second I thought that my nose was gonna break, but luckily everything was okay and my nose was safe. So yeah, coming here to this beach town to surf is amazing. And even if I don't want to surf, for example, right now, this trip, I don't really have a goal to surf because I think I got so tired and at the same time a little scared because the waves are big. You really have to be a very confident swimmer, and I do know how to swim, but you know, sometimes I just want to relax. Like, I don't want to strain my body even more. And yeah, so that is why this trip, it was really important for us to have a pool, to be able to go to the beach where you can actually swim. You probably need to drive, or you need to take an Uber, a taxi, and sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes you just want to spend time at the pool and not do anything. Also, another little thing that is making this birthday so much more fun and also this trip so much more fun for me is this floaty, because I've been wanting to get one for such a long time, but I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. Now that I actually have it, it's so freaking nice. Even though it takes quite a lot of time to actually inflate it, it makes me feel like a child again. When you ask your husband to do your floaty thing, there you okay. When it came to shopping and exploring all of those little stores, I didn't really find anything I liked a lot. Honestly, my goal was maybe to find a blue bathing suit, because I haven't had one in this color in so long, but I couldn't really find anything I liked. And also, I was maybe thinking of getting a dress, but the quality was, I don't know, like I really want to buy something that is made out of good quality fabric that's gonna allow my skin to breathe, especially when it's like so freaking hot as it is here right now, like 30 degrees Celsius every single day, or I think it's 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And the dress I did try on, it was made out of cotton, but there was definitely some polyester involved, and I was like, you know what, I'm probably gonna say no to this. Are you ready to see the ocean? The sand is so impossibly hot. Oh my god, I need to run really fast. Ah! My feet are burning. Okay, let's see. I don't know if you can see how big the waves actually are, but they are pretty huge. Like, I don't want to actually go in and swim. Maybe just wet my feet and that's it. Even though the waves are so big, and there's actually a red flag here, so technically you can't swim. Like, no one can swim because it's pretty dangerous. Still being here next to the ocean, listening to the waves, breathing this amazing smell, it makes me so happy. Every single time I think about how I would want to spend my birthday, I just always think that I want to be at the beach. It's like one of those places where I enjoy spending my time so much. Let's look at this bandera roja. I feel like my vlogs are going to be a combination of 3 different languages: English, Russian, and Spanish. These are the languages I speak. Obviously, if I use a different language, not English, I'm always going to include subtitles so that you can understand everything I'm saying. Oh my god, also it's so sunny. Like, the sun is literally shining onto the camera, so I don't know how well you can see me, but I'm using ND filters, so it's supposed to be a little bit less bright. Good morning, it's the next day after my birthday, Sunday, and we just came to have breakfast at this new vegan place called Yab Kitchen. We have never been here before, so let's see what I want to get. Do they have anything salados? Okay, hummus bowls, los tostados. Last night I slept for 9 hours, so that's why this morning I feel great, full of energy, ready to tackle this day. Because the first night when we just landed in Puerto Escondido, I only slept for like 7 hours because the whole night I kept on having nightmares because I kept on hearing some like weird sounds at the Airbnb. The door was creaking, and it's because I just didn't close it properly. That's why. Then I figured out how to close it properly, like the doors of the bathroom, and everything was okay. And then there was also some water leaking and literally dripping on our faces, but again, we also fixed adjusted. It was all good. Like the ceiling is fine now, but the first night it was definitely an experience. I don't want camote. Sometimes I'm very picky about my camotes. And also there's hummus de betabel. I don't really like beet hummus. It's hummus clásico, and this one is hummus de aguacate. Hummus de aguacate. You can also add proteína vegana, which I'm not gonna do because I don't drink vegan protein anymore because it's very processed, and I've read a lot of like studies and watched videos about how people think protein powder is so good for you, but in reality it's so processed. It's like another processed food that, if possible, you should be eliminating from your diet and relying on actual food for your calories.
¿Vamos a dar lo mismo?
Sí, la comida sí, pero...
Okay.
Gracias. The breakfast was great. Everything was very simple, but honestly, together, it was good. I liked it. But for me, I think the highlight was definitely the smoothie. An interesting fact about me is that I am a very fast eater. I'm usually the one who finishes their food the fastest. Why? I am a person who eats really fast. I think it was because I grew up in a very big family. I feel like we always kind of competed for food. It is important to chew everything well, to not rush, enjoy your food, but I eat it so fast that I feel like I don't have enough time to actually enjoy my food, but I'm working on it. Today's plan is to explore different beaches where we can actually swim, and I actually brought my snorkel with me. Let's see if I'll be able to snorkel. And just now saying that, I realized that I forgot my phone case, like a special case where I can put my phone to film underwater. So that's great. So I won't be able to film anything underwater even if I decide to actually swim with my snorkel, but that is obviously okay. Yeah, it's funny how sometimes you only realize that you forgot something once you actually start talking about it. And I rent a car, a little Jeep convertible situation. It's like a very small car without a roof, and the color of the car is going to be pink. It's actually one of my favorite colors right now, and I'm so excited. You don't need to rent a car to be able to go to like a nice beach where you can actually swim. The reason why we're doing it is because last year and the year before that we took taxis here, and it's really convenient. But I feel like right now we just want to have it more as an experience, like a nice pretty car going to different beaches together. Oh my god, it's next to the pink wall, the pink car. I see it, it's so cute. This is the car. Oh my god, it's so pink. We made it to the beach where we would like to swim in the pink car. It was amazing, but honestly the car kind of drives a little bit crazy. Like, it's not soft at all. I feel like mostly we got it because of the color. Obviously it's so bright and so obnoxious. So huge. It's crazy and almost empty. Almost no one. I think the waves are still maybe a little strong, but I think it's possible to swim in there.
1 hour later.
The beach we came to the very first time, turned out the waves there were way too big, and the beach that we actually wanted to go, we had to walk there. And we also realized that because we didn't have like a beach umbrella, we didn't have absolutely any shade. And because my skin is very sensitive, I'm a güerita, I cannot be without shade in the sun, especially in Mexico, for too long, because otherwise, even with a lot of sunscreen, my skin is just gonna get super burned, like toasted. And so that's why we were basically driving around trying to find a beach umbrella. And maybe it sounds like a super simple thing to find, especially when you're actually at the beach, like in a beach town. But for some reason, a lot of the places were closed, like a lot of the little shops. And we think that the reason why they were closed Gracias. And it turns out that because today is Sunday, a lot of the little shops were closed. And we even went to like a big supermarket to buy a beach umbrella and they didn't have any. Luckily, my husband was doing all the work. I was just sitting in the car waiting for him and he was running around trying to find the beach umbrella for us. But now we have one, and so we actually came to the beach we wanted to go to. I just tried swimming in the ocean, and yes, there are waves here, but it's swimmable, you know, it's nothing crazy. But I also wanted to try snorkeling, but I feel like, I don't know, because there are still waves here, they kind of pick up the sand and the water is not super clear. So I couldn't really see anything. And also the bottom of the ocean here is super rocky. So my legs, my knees were constantly touching something, even though I was pretty far away from the shore. This morning at breakfast, I wrote down a little note on my phone, something that I wanted to continue talking to you guys about, because during breakfast, I mentioned that I no longer use vegan protein powders because in the past, I would sometimes buy protein powders to, you know, make smoothies or bake something with them because I thought I lacked protein. Recently, especially, I became more and more interested in like taking nutrition courses, and last year I took a course from eCornell. It was an online course dedicated to plant-based nutrition, and there they also mentioned that protein powders, even though a lot of people consume them, whether you're vegan or not vegan, you might think, oh my god, I'm probably lacking protein. I feel like right now a lot of people are just obsessed with protein, and me being a vegan, a lot of people always ask me, oh my god, where do you get your protein from? And what I like to ask people instead is, are you getting enough fiber? But also, if we're talking about protein powders, it is not a whole food. The funniest thing to me is a lot of people consume like protein powders and like all of those drinks when they go to the gym, even though technically they don't even work out enough. I feel like before asking yourself if you need all of the supplementary nutrition in terms of powders, you first need to ask yourself, do you actually exercise enough? And even me, a person who works out pretty consistently, I know that I don't need any of that. When I started doing yoga with my current yoga teacher 4 months ago, I definitely had less muscle, and you can even see it. You know, I feel a lot more stronger now without obviously meat, dairy, and also without any protein powders. One thing that I really like about the nutrition I'm trying to follow right now, this whole food plant-based nutrition, is that food in general works together. Like if you isolate protein as a powder, a lot of the nutrients were removed, even if it's like pea protein. Obviously, it is so much better for you to eat actual peas, actual chickpeas, tofu, than it is to eat some kind of powder, and obviously to rely on it if you feel like you're not getting enough nutrients in your diet. A lot of people are really surprised to hear that you can be vegan and you can be healthy, but you can also be vegan and you can be unhealthy. And unhealthy vegans are usually the ones that eat a lot of processed vegan foods. They are created first and foremost for meat eaters. Like me as a vegan, I don't even like vegan cheese. Vegan chicken nuggets are definitely my guilty pleasure. I can eat that all the time. They're so good. Yeah, I always go through a phase and
crave something for a couple months and you're like, I'm over it.
Yep. Yeah, I always go through like a phase of being obsessed with a certain type of food, whether it's vegan chicken nuggets or vegan ice cream, or what was it? I think it was like a restaurant in Mexico City I really like going to, Plantasia, or Por Siempre Vegana, a taqueria in Mexico City, and now I don't want to go there anymore. But I still like tofu. Because I'm not obsessed with it. That's why I still like it. Okay, I'm going to attempt
Well, let me back
something
up first.
crazy now. Well, let me first...
Figure it out?
Yeah, figure it out. Oh my god, it's so fun. Oh my god, I see a little donkey. Oh, hello. Little buddy. Oh wait, it's not a donkey. Is it a donkey or is it a horse? National Geographic, help me. I think it's a donkey. I feel like my hair is absolutely permanently covered in either sand or sea water. So if I take off my hat, oh my god. this is my hair. You're hoping for an aesthetic beach look, and this is what you get. This is a real beach look. I literally washed my hair last night. Okay, vamos a ver qué tenemos aquí. It's already almost 5 p.m. and we came to have lunch/early dinner to this Mexican place called Chill a Kill, which in Espanol would be chilaquil.
Jamaica está muy dulce. No tiene azúcar, le ponemos sal. Ya no me gusta mucho.
Para mí también. Por favor. They brought us Jamaica and it's so good. It's not sweet, but it's very refreshing. It's basically a hibiscus tea kind of situation, and it's funny because in Russia we also really like drinking hibiscus tea, but I only discovered it for myself here in Mexico as Jamaica. Good morning, everyone. I decided to start vlogging this morning because I'm gonna go to a local yoga school and attend one of their classes. The class is called Posturas Invertidas. I guess we're gonna be practicing a lot of arm balances, hopefully handstands. We'll see. Today is a pretty gloomy day, to be honest, but it's nice because it's not as hot. So it's nice to be walking around. I don't need to wear sunglasses. And plus, the yoga should be really close to our Airbnb, so it's just an 8-minute walk. I do like when my yoga is a little bit more difficult, a little bit more advanced, so that's why I decided to visit this class in particular, and also because I really like all of the, the challenge of doing arm balances and handstands, so we'll see how it goes. I like going to yoga classes in different places I visit because I like to see how other instructors teach yoga. Maybe there are some new postures I'm gonna learn, or maybe their way of teaching is going to be really interesting. I normally don't use any makeup when I'm on vacation just because it's so freaking hot, like I'm always feeling sweaty. But this morning I decided to use this waterproof mascara by YSL, and honestly, I mean, it looks nice, but I don't understand why the formula is so dry. Like, I don't know if my mascara just went bad, became dry and I should probably throw it out, or if it's supposed to be this way. Maybe all waterproof mascaras are really dry. I'm not a makeup professional, so that's why I don't know. I literally probably have 3 mascaras maximum, and I do only prefer to have 2, like one regular one and one waterproof. So I don't know. It looks nice, but I feel like the formula is a little bit hard to use. Like, I was trying to do my eyelashes, and I don't know, to be able to really achieve like a nice effect, you probably need to do like 4 coats of this mascara because it's so freaking dry. I really like being in Puerto Escondido because it's like a little village. Like, all of these little streets, they really remind me of growing up in the village, because when I was a little kid, we lived at my grandparents' house for a few years, and they lived in the countryside in a small house with all of these streets like this, dogs everywhere. And if it rains, it gets extremely muddy. This town reminds me of being a kid again. I just saw a huge lizard. Sometimes it feels like you're at the zoo when you go to the beach, because you see some really big, interesting looking animals you would otherwise see in a zoo. came 15 minutes early and there is another class happening, and I feel like it's a really funny Russian thing about me. If I arrive on time, in my culture, it kind of means that I'm late. So I need to make sure I arrive early. But in Mexico, a lot of people come ahorita, extremely late, and so it's always fun to me. Learning about the timing in a different culture is an interesting thing. I always try to arrive on time, but here it means that I always come too early. Class is just finished and I'm so sweaty, mom spaghetti. I love saying this. It was nice. I liked it. We did a lot of drills focused on handstands, exactly what I'm trying to practice right now. Got to practicar mi español. So crazy exercising when it's so freaking hot outside because your body does feel more flexible, but at the same time, you're just covered in sweat. And because of that, like my hands were slipping on the mat all the time. When I was trying to do a handstand, I was like, the floor kind of feels wet, or my palms are so sweaty that the floor is wet because of my palms. So it just feels like there's never enough grip. But your body does feel more flexible, which is a nice bonus. We've been staying here for 4 days already, 4 or 5 days, and I still haven't memorized the map and where I'm supposed to go. It's showing me that I'm supposed to go straight, but there's no way to go straight. I need to turn right here. Okay. Oh my God. Me and navigation. It's always a challenge. It's crazy how now, because I've been really dedicating a lot of time to my handstand practice, slowly but surely I am starting to feel a lot more confident with my handstands. Like they feel more controlled now instead of just like swinging my legs and hoping for the best. But because most of us are impatient, it's understandable why we want to see results super fast without doing anything. You know, we don't want to be spending our effort, but we want to be getting the results, which is obviously like it doesn't happen this way, right? But we all want it to happen this way, which is understandable. Like I also want to lay in bed, do nothing, and learn miraculously how to do a perfectly controlled handstand or some arm balances. It is so impossibly hot in here. I feel like I've said it already multiple times, but I just feel like my whole body is sweaty. I decided to use this headband because I'm trying to experiment more with my hair and not just have it down or like a classic ponytail, actually try something else. And so far, I really like it. Most importantly, it keeps my hair out of my face so nothing sticks to my already sticky forehead. We just made it back to our Airbnb from breakfast, lunch, brunch situation, and now I just want to relax a little bit, cool off with the AC. I tried to upload my vlog at the coffee shop, but unfortunately the internet here is not the best, and we were there for probably an hour and a half, and only 30% of my video actually got uploaded, so I had to quit the whole operation. And basically I think I'm gonna do it once I'm back at home. I actually wanted to finish today's vlog, and I wanted to say a huge thank you to every single one of you who decided to watch it until the very end. I really hope you liked it. By the way, all the drone footage in this video was recorded by my amazing husband, so I gotta give credit where credit is due. Last night we went to get ice cream from this place that I became obsessed with, and they have one specific flavor of vegan ice cream. It's called Dark Pro. that I really like. As a person who loves chocolate, when I tried that specific ice cream, I think it was probably like 90% cacao and obviously sugar and also some plant milk, probably cocoa milk. It honestly sounds so weird to me right now when I say cocoa. I'm not even sure if it's correct in English because I'm so used to saying coco, like in Spanish, leche de coco, that now saying it in English feels weird. I feel like I haven't said this word in English in so long. I fell in love with that ice cream. But the problem with that ice cream was that if you spill it on your clothes, it's really hard to wash off. And the guy who was selling the ice cream actually told us that it's impossible to wash it off. And so now my shorts have a little mancha situation. And I really hope I'll be able to clean them when I get back home. This morning, I also had a therapy session and we talked about this mental barrier I have in my head when I record YouTube videos and especially vlogs. In my everyday life, I do speak 3 languages. Spanish, Russian is my native language, and obviously English. And so when I'm recording a vlog, I do want to use all 3 languages. Like obviously English is going to be the main one, but I do want to say some words in Spanish, like what I was just doing, manchas, or what else did I say? Leche de coco. Stuff like that, because that's how I normally speak. It's like Spanglish plus a little bit of Russian, but I don't know why there is like 2 parts of me sitting inside of me. One, Veronika, is telling me, just be yourself, you know, speak however you want to. You can add subtitles so that everyone can understand what you're saying. And there is another Veronika that is following the rules. The Veronika that really likes to do everything correctly. And I don't even know who is creating all of these rules, and she's telling me that I can only speak English because that's what I'm supposed to do, and also because I'm not a native English speaker, I should be speaking English as well as a native English speaker would. Like that Veronika is telling me that I should be doing this. So we talked about that. I felt like we had a very productive session. Obviously I want the real true Veronika to win. That is why I was using all of these words in Spanish. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching this video. I really hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.